Well, um, I don't remember a whole lot myself because I was only like 3 or 4 years old at the time. But I do remember a few things. I know that we had dogs out there. We had Doberman Pinschers and um, used to play a lot outside. We had drainage ditches and things of that sort. But what I do know is that my older brother, Patrick, who's 4 years older than I am, actually started school while we lived out there at the little white schoolhouse that used to be out on Highway 21. I forget the name of it, but he'll remember. We were there because my dad, who was class of 38 at A&M, an electrical engineer, actually left the year before he graduated. He got married to my mother, and they got out of school for a couple of years, and then, of course, he went off to the war. And as a junior, almost a senior in electrical engineering, they got him into the Signal Corps in the Army, and he served throughout the war. So after the war, when he came home, we all went back to A&M. He returned for classes there and resumed his degree. And when we came back, of course, that was where the housing was for us, out at Bryan Field back then. So this was in 1947. He graduated actually in May of 48 out there. Actually, and he was a letterman. He was an A&M football letterman, et cetera. One of the first ones in our family that was. We've had others. So we lived out there from that time until he graduated in 48. And not a whole lot of recollections, as I said, from me, but I do remember being there, which was my first thing, and attending my first football games at A&M, of course, with them when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Fast forward to you becoming an A&M student yourself, and in fact, in the fall of 1967, there were 3 Elmendorfs who started as freshmen at Texas A&M. Talk a bit about that.
I come from a family. I have 3 siblings, a sister and 2 brothers. We're all 4 years apart. Good planning on my dad's part and mom's part, I guess, or just circumstances. But we grew up in Houston. We ended up in Houston. And my older brother had gone in the Air Force before me. And let's see, I went in 63, so he went in 61, 2 years before I did. We both ended up being stationed at the School of Aerospace Medicine in San Antonio. And that's where I got an interest in aerospace and decided that what I really wanted to do was get into the space program and be an astronaut. I was doing a lot of training for them. My older brother went in the Air Force, and he got out in 65 and went to work down at NASA because he had the background from the School of Aerospace Medicine. He went to work at NASA in Houston on the manned space program down there. And then my younger brother, Dave, was in high school, earning his accolades for football and everything else that he eventually brought to A&M. So in 67, he graduated from high school in Houston, came to A&M on full football, baseball scholarship. I got out of the Air Force and came up in the fall. Well, I actually came up in the summer of 67 and started coursework then. And then my older brother decided he was going to come up, so he came up in the fall of 67 as well. So we were all 3 here at the same time. And of course, my parents loved it. One trip, service all. So nice and easy. So with my background, I went into aerospace engineering at A&M. And I was married at the time, had a daughter, a young daughter who was born in 67. So I went to work for the university. And went to work in the cyclotron, building the cyclotron, which is the high energy impactor that we had back at the time, one of the biggest in the world at the time. I did that for a year, and that was in 1967. In '68, in the spring of '68, the Aerospace Engineering Department asked me if I'd like to come to work there. They wanted to open a flight mechanics lab. So I said yes. So in '68, myself and three other aerospace students, one of them a grad student and a couple of other undergrads, joined the Aerospace Engineering Department and went out and actually opened the Flight Mechanics Lab at the annex, which is now the hangar out there where the tower, the control tower is. At that time we had 3 airplanes out there. Actually we had 2 at the time. There were 2 in parts. We had an old Ag Cat that I think has been mentioned in your studies, and the parts for another Ag Cat, first 2 prototypes, metal wing prototypes. And we had a Piper PA-18 Super Cub. So we went out there and had contracts with the Army to do flight research and gust alleviation programs. And we had 2 professors that were sponsoring, and Dr. Dick Thomas and Dr. Stan Lowy, who were famous in the aero department still to this day. In fact, we have an award named for Stan Lowy, the Lowy Award, which I use in my classes. But we started doing flight research, and I went in and got my pilot's license at that time and started doing flying out there with the airplanes we had. At that time, we didn't have this insurance liability issue, so we can actually fly the airplanes and do the flight research. So I did that from '68 till '71, until January '71, when I left A&M and went to work down at NASA in Houston. So those were great days out there. We did a lot. We actually went in and we were the ones that opened up that hangar and cleaned it out, and it was a great time.
And now you've come back as a professor of practice in aerospace engineering. That hangar, building 7046, is still the aerospace hangar, but not used as robustly as back when you were in school.
Well, yeah, it's been used for a lot of storage. I think they're starting to clean it out, and there's still a lot of questions of what they're going to do with it, which there's a lot of people that would like to know, because we do have a pretty active small UAS group out there that Dr. John Vlasic runs, which does a lot of UAS research programs for the AgriLife. We do a lot of crop work. We've even done some work with Harvey. They did some observations down there with drones for that. So there's a lot of that going on down there, and a lot of research still out of that hangar, but it's all unmanned. I support them in a lot of the remote sensing activities that they're doing. We have a big interest in, and we just got a hyperspectral imager that we're going to be flying with the AgriLife, and a lot of other sensors that we want to fly, and a lot of remote sensing research that can be done. That's really, I think, is a big future, not only for the drones, but in technology itself. So I've been supporting that, and of course I also teach. I teach a senior engineering capstone design course in aircraft, and the culmination of that course is actually building and flying a 6-foot wingspan radio control model of an airplane that they've designed from the ground up. And we actually do our flight research with those out at Rellis as well. So we're actually flying those airplanes on the runways I used to take off from with the big airplanes, which is really interesting. So there's a lot of history and a lot of memories there, but we are still doing that.